What's up, you guys? This is Fang Sasha Via here, coming at you with the newest game show on the market. It's Sonic Tuesday's Trivia Edition. Of course, I'm not the host, so technically it should be Mizu doing this, which she's in here too.
It's your video. You have to do your intro.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We're doing a trivia. So, take it away, Mizu.
Okay, I'm going to push play and then play solo. There's a 20-second timer, but I am going to read these as fast as I can.
Okay.
So, which one of these is not a name for one of the Deadly Six from Sonic Lost World? Zavok, Zorp, Xena, or Zomon?
Zomon.
Okay, submit your answer. This pictured Sonic enemy below is called...
Caterpillar.
Hooray! You got that one. Which body part is Mephiles the Dark not lacking?
A mouth.
It says not lacking.
Oh. Feet.
The pictured hedgehog is named...
Sir Lancelot.
How many points are required to unlock Amy's Long Hammer upgraded Sonic Adventure's Hedgehog Hammer?
5,000? No, 3,000.
Final answer.
Final answer 3,000.
The level select code in Sonic 2 uses 1965-917 in the sound test. What do these numbers mean?
Yuji Naka's birthday?
Hey, you got it! The Tower of Power, a collection of a number of Sega Genesis peripherals stacked, typically features which Sonic game?
Sonic 1. My god, I am sucking at this.
Well, you said to pick a hard one. How many possible endings does Shadow the Hedgehog have?
10.
True or false? If you inserted Streets of Rage until and Knuckles lock-on cartridge, you'd be able to play Blue Sphere.
My gut's telling me is false.
That's the answer you want to go with.
No, true.
True or false? Sonic 2 was developed by Sonic Team.
False.
Dr. Ivan Eggman Robotnik's primary mode of transportation pictured below is known as...
The Eggmobile.
Sonic the Hedgehog 4 was developed by which studio?
Dimps.
We've played it enough. We knew the answer to that one. Miles tells Powers' favorite food is...
Pizza.
I like how they put mint candy as the answer. It's actually mint candy. True or false? Knuckles is considered the sole surviving echidna in Sonic canon.
True. He's considered that, but in Sonic Chronicles of Dark Brotherhood.
Sonic Mania has how many Blue Sphere stages?
What? Okay, so there's a 7 plus 7.
That's 14.
That's 14. 32?
Look, you got it! The 6 Chaos Emeralds do not feature which color in Sonic the Hedgehog 1?
White.
Turquoise.
Oh, turquoise?
How many collectible emblems are there in Sonic Adventure 2?
This is easy. 180.
Some of these are hard ones, some of these are good ones. In the main Sonic reality, how many organic, yes, I have to specify, hedgehogs can utilize chaos control?
3.
I was about to say there's 3. True or false? Good, great, awesome, outstanding, amazing are words the narrator shouts with Sonic's doing tricks in Sonic colors.
Correct.
Based on the aggregate site Metacritic, the current worst critically reviewed Sonic game. There's like.
My guess telling me it's Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric.
Well, it's either that or 06. But it's Rise of Lyric, you're alright. You got 14 out of the 20 questions correct.
Oh, that bothers me so much. Oh my god. I'm just going to retire from my channel.
No.
I need to redeem myself here. Find me one bonus quiz.
Bonus quiz? Okay,
yes.
Hold on.
I just feel this. Of all those I should have known. I've played Sonic 1 enough. But it's like, again, it's 20 questions, so there's that pressure.
You told me to find a hard one. I guess I found a hard one. Let me see what this one on Quotev is. No, that's too basic. Let's see. Test your knowledge. What? Stop it. Oh, this has got 15. Let's try this one. If it'll stop popping up. Stop. You want to do this one?
So this is me redeeming myself.
Redemption round. What is the name of the island that serves as Sonic's home in many of the games?
Green Hill Zone. What is Sonic's greatest fear?
It's fear.
Water.
Next question. What is Shadow's nickname?
The ultimate life form.
When was the first time Sega made their first Sonic game?
91.
What is the name of Sonic's arch nemesis? Why do they got Dr. Wily there in Cortex?
Dr. Cortex. Crash Bandicoot and Mega Man confirmed. Dr. Eggman.
Yeah, I already knew you was gonna pick that one. What is the name of the island that serves? Oh, you already answered that one, so it just randomized the questions.
Yeah,
so, who is in Team Chaotix?
Vector, Espo, Charmy. although technically, if they threw in Vector, Mighty, and Knuckles, that's not wrong either.
Yeah. What happens when Shadow takes off his inhibitor rings on his wrists?
Simple. I release all my power.
84% of people that took this got this correct. What makes Sonic gain more power?
Emeralds.
So you want to go Emeralds, Super Emeralds, or both A and B?
Both A and B.
55% got that correct. Oh my gosh.
Some of you probably needs to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, and which year was the original Sonic the Hedgehog game released?
91.
Correct the Mundo. How many people got that one? 89? Cool. In the game, Shadow the Hedgehog, what is the main reason why Shadow has to seek the Chaos Emeralds?
So I can reveal my past.
I found out why you are alive. How many got that? 73% got that correct. Oh. Huh. Which company is responsible for creating Sonic the Hedgehog video game series?
Sega!
I like how they have Nintendo, Sony, and Capcom on here.
Those three wish that they created Sonic.
Dr. Robotnik created Shadow. True? Or false?
This feels like a trick question, doesn't it?
It does. So true or false?
True. Yeah, no. Here's no. Technically, it's right because Gerald's last name
Technically,
is
it's right,
Robotnik.
yeah, because Gerald's last name's Robotnik. In the game Sonic Heroes, Shadow, Rouge, and Omega were in Team Rose.
False.
How many
Although
people?
technically, Rouge could have been in Team Rose.
She could have been. What is the nickname of Sonic's sidekick? A two-tailed fox.
Tails. My little buddy.
Which zone is often considered Sonic's iconic starting level in minigame?
Green Hill Zone.
Green Hill Zone. Technically, you got this fully correct, but considering that one was a trick question.
Yep.
So, how do you feel about that one?
Other than that one question, I consider a trick question. I feel good about myself now. Not really. That first quiz destroyed me. I got 6 answers wrong. I'm a fake Sonic fan.
You're not a fake Sonic fan. You just didn't know those. You
Guys,
learned things today.
My secret has finally been revealed. I'm not a Sonic fan. I'm a Sonic hater.
Oh my god. If you was a Sonic hater, you would have got every single one of those wrong.
That's true. But yes, anyways, you guys, that's it for this video. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell button. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Later, guys. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Fame/Via here, coming at you with a new video. And it is yet again Sonic Tuesdays, which means this is just a general Sonic video. It could literally be anything. Lore, you know, maybe a after comic dub, maybe a after reaction video. It could literally be anything. So we're going to continue what we've done before with the Neo Metal Sonic video that we did 2 weeks ago, and Mizu's gonna read off some trivia.
Yup.
So yeah, let's get started.
Okay, first bullet point. Mephiles is the only character in the Sonic the Hedgehog series to have successfully offed Sonic. Despite being the main antagonist of Sonic 06, he and Sonic never interact with each other throughout any of his appearances besides this altercation.
That's correct. Mephiles is the only one that has. Eggman in certain games has tried, but it's weird, right? Because it's like some games Eggman really wants to end him, and in other games he just wants to get him out of his way.
Yep.
It's weird. But I mean, heck, like a perfect example of like Eggman trying to off Sonic was in SA2.
Yeah.
But then again, the fact that he didn't want to do it by his own hands, kinda in a sense. Well, then again, it was by his own hands because he was the one that pressed the button for the
capsule to go out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Eggman is a very tricky villain. It's like one moment he doesn't want to kill Sonic, another moment he is weird. In terms of, go on.
Yeah, it is very weird.
In terms of Sonic never encountering Mephiles, that is true. Well, to be honest, technically the only interaction they have is actually when Mephiles did the deed, and later on when he's fused with Iblis to become the god of Soleanna. Because in Sonic 06, just in case people don't know, Silver was basically Sonic's, I guess, a bit of a minor antagonist to Sonic. Until later on in Sonic's story, to where it's kind of revealed like, oh well, Mephiles is the cause of everything.
Yeah, and then Silver's like, well, I got fooled. I'm switching sides.
Mephiles has always been seen as Shadow's antagonist. Because when it comes to Mephiles' beef with Shadow, it is definitely more apparent that he has a bigger grudge against Shadow than than Sonic, especially with his, the first line that we hear him say in Shadow's story, I owe much to you, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah!
Mephiles isn't happy with him. Mephiles is pissed that Shadow sealed him up all those years ago. But at the time, President Shadow doesn't know yet that, oh, well, it was me that sealed him. Anyways, continue.
Okay, bullet point 2. In an interview by Game Informer in 2017, Takashi Iizuka stated that there were no plans for Mephiles to appear in any future games as he was only useful for the narrative of 06. However, Mario Kishimoto later posted in a tweet in 2023 that Mephiles could potentially return in future installments. He would later be revealed as a boss in Shadow Generations a year after this statement was made.
Yeah, in 2017, that was still when Sega was really not wanting to embrace some of the better aspects of 06, Mephiles being one of them.
Yeah.
And plus, two, probably to Iizuka-san, well, Mephiles was erased, so how could they bring him back? Well, we all know how he came back, because the stupid time meter messing everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever pocket that Mephiles was in, the time meter, and this is how I took it from playing it, when the time meter did that, it somehow allowed Mephiles to force his way back into the new continuity that's created after Sonic and Elise blew out the flame of disaster.
Yeah.
So could we see him again? Who knows? But ironically enough, Mephiles could actually appear in Sonic Forces.
Yeah, he could have.
Although I get the funniest feeling they're probably going to mention that in here. So
there is a huge possibility of that.
Yeah, so let's continue.
Okay, bullet point 3. According to the leaked script of 06, just after Shadow uses Chaos Control to stop time around Mephiles in the Sealing Mephiles cutscene, Mephiles was originally a plan to say, I am the sun. I transcend time itself, a bridge to other worlds.
Interesting. I am the sun. Okay, well that references Solaris.
Yep. And he transcends time itself.
Which is what he kind of does at the end.
And he's a bridge to other worlds, which kind of makes sense considering he went into past, present, and future when you fought him as Solaris.
Yeah. And in a sense, he also did that in Shadow Generations.
Yeah. Yeah!
I am very curious on how they're going to handle Mephiles later on.
I am as well.
Especially with the end. And also Dark Gaia.
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting.
Alright, let's continue.
Okay, bullet point 4. Mephiles offing Sonic reveals that his lie about Sonic being the Iblis trigger was actually partially true. Sonic himself would not awaken Iblis, but his death would cause Elise to cry and awaken Iblis instead. This makes Silver's mission deeply ironic, as offing Sonic would have only expedited Mephiles' plan, as Shadow alluded to shortly after his duel with Silver.
To quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, what Mephiles said about Sonic being the Iblis trigger was true from a certain point of view. By the way, total shameless plug, but definitely go stop by the Vin Victims Cantina, to where we talk about Star Wars and other science fiction franchises. There, definitely make sure to subscribe and watch the 2 videos I have on there already. Anyways. Um, but yeah, yeah. And I even mentioned that in like various live streams of when like people would like I brought that up so many times to people is that Sonic was technically the Iblis trigger. He was the trigger to make Elise cry,
Cry,
which would unleash
yeah.
Iblis.
So technically, Mephiles wasn't wrong with saying
As for
that.
Silver, if this was an old cartoon, he would immediately turn into a donkey. Because that's exactly what he is. With a with a cuss word etched into his fur.
Oh no.
Alright.
Oh god. Bullet point 5. It is unknown why Mephiles did not simply reunite with Iblis in the future, where Iblis was already roaming free. This discrepancy has caused fans to theorize that Mephiles was unable to join with Iblis in its monster form and required his flames of disaster form to do so. Though this has never been officially confirmed, another perceived hole in his plan is why he tricked Silver into hunting Sonic rather than doing it himself, as he does in last story. Though this is mainly explained by two facts: Mephiles was reborn slow and weak before growing strong enough to off Sonic, and he first needed Sonic to spend time with Elise and form a strong bond enough to the point that she would cry at his death.
And there's also one more point here that I'm forgetting. Mephiles wanted to, in a way, because in Shadow Story, his original plan was to pull a Black Doom and try to make Shadow realize, oh, by the way, these humans, they're going to turn on you eventually. So why don't you join me?
Yeah, he did try doing that, and that's where we got the cool cutscene of Shadow doing what he did.
well, here's the thing. He also tried it again in the future. Well, he tried it first
In
in the
the
future,
future, yeah.
and then he tried it again. And then we got that cool, when and of course we got that cool cutscene where Beth was like, why was it all for those that were, pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
consider him guilty to begin with, and then Shadow says that iconic line, even if the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
Such a good line.
So that is definitely true, but I think the other part was that I think Shadow was a plan B. That's what I think.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
Alright.
Bullet point 6. Mephiles is one of 4 Sonic characters, along with Fang the Hunter, Knuckles the Dread, and Bean the Dynamite, to have a suffix style that does not refer to his species. Mephiles the Dark refers to his association with darkness, as his Japanese name can also be translated as Mephiles of the Darkness.
Oh my god. Are they saying that because Mephiles looks like a evil version of Shadow?
I guess. I don't know.
He's a demon. His species would be literally be called, if we are gonna go by the typical Sonic logic, his name would be Mephiles the Demon.
Yeah, quite literally.
Not Mephiles the Hedgehog.
No.
Mephiles only became that form by his shadow going into Shadow, becoming an evil version
Of Shadow.
of him.
Yeah.
Mephiles is not a hedgehog. He's a demon. He's a demonic entity. Mephiles himself is based off Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
Both Mephiles and Iblis' names are a reference to other names people give, without getting too much into religion, Satan, the devil.
This is also true.
which definitely fits Mephiles.
Oh, yeah.
Ironic that they combine to become a godly figure, which is how, anyways, like I said, I'm not going to get too much into religion because I'm not really.
No, but I see your point there saying that.
Yeah.
Bullet point 7. Ian Flynn has previously expressed the theory that Sonic Team intended the Time Eater from Sonic Generations to be a portion of Mephiles that survived the defeat of Solaris and the paradox that prevented his existence. However, this theory has never been officially addressed, and Mephiles appears as a separate entity from the Time Eater in Shadow Generations with no mention of a connection.
All I'm going to say about that's an interesting theory, but because of Shadow Generations, yeah, we can say that theory is debunked.
It kind of debunks that theory. Oh, here's the Sonic Forces bit you was talking about at bullet point 8. In the earlier script for Sonic Forces, phantom copies of Mephiles are listed as part of the army at the Eggman Empire Fortress prior to the final battle. This evidently didn't make it into the final game.
That's correct, and I get the feeling he would have been in the place of Shadow at the time. To me, it has never made sense to me on why they had a phantom copy of Shadow, because Shadow would never go full on evil. So the fact that they didn't use Mephiles is kind of. Actually, the fact that they were even considering him is surprising.
Yeah.
Who knows why that he was cut? It could have been that, again, that was still when, they didn't want to embrace the good parts of Sonic 06. Well, actually, embrace it completely, like they do now. It could be because maybe, it just didn't make sense, because how would, the Phantom Ruby know about Mephiles when Mephiles has been erased?
That, and also how would Infinite know about him, too?
Yeah. Would it have been cool? Yeah, it would have been awesome. Like, imagine when Sonic gets beaten. Like, again, the one thing I do with my Sonic, because I really believe that Sonic still slightly remembers the events of 06.
That muscle memory's there.
Yeah, and it would have been cool. As Sonic looks up and he sees Shadow there. Well, Mephiles. His hands immediately goes up to the spot that, Mephiles
stabbed him through.
Yeah.
And tried to do the Shadow.
But yeah, there could have been multiple reasons why that was cut, and I think those are most likely the reasons.
Yeah.
At the time, they didn't embrace Mephiles yet, and it could have been just because it just didn't make sense. It's how would the Phantom Ruby or Infinite know about Mephiles?
Exactly, and there's no way for anyone to figure out about Mephiles because, he's kind of been erased from the timeline.
Yep.
At this point.
Yep.
Now, for the last bullet point, Shadow's Batman outfit depicts his clothes with similar gray colors to that of Mephiles' shadow form.
That's correct.
I never noticed that with Shadow's Batman outfit, but yeah.
And let me tell ya, I want to dub those comics so badly. I need to get a big cast of people to do it with.
Yeah, because we would have to have people be the DC heroes too.
Oh, no. I would be Batman.
Well, I know you would be Batman, but like the Flash and all them. We gotta have people for them.
Okay, when it comes to the Flash, I think we both know the one person I would gladly jump at the chance to voice the Flash.
GG.
Yeah.
We both know already who would do that one.
He would be the same way if Sonic ever crossed over with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he would want to be Johnny. But that is all the trivia bullet points that is on Mephiles.
Yep. So, If you all are new here, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and definitely go sub to Mizu here. And like I said, stop on by the Vindictum's Cantina to
I
where
will put a link to it down below by adding the channel in the description.
Yep. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Later, guys.
Bye.